Now, after a prolonged legal battle spanning over 5 years, the Commercial Court 7 in Accra, Ghana, has ruled against the Confederation of African Football for infringing on the intellectual property rights of Ghanaian music producer Kwabena Ofe Kwadi Nkrumah, popularly known as Kobe Spiky. The court found CAF guilty of using Spiky's musical beat Komfo Anoche without permission in promotional materials for the 2018 CAF Awards. Now, Spiky's legal team argued that CAF plagiarized, appropriated, and infringed on Spiky's copyright by failing to acknowledge him as the owner of the music. They asserted that CAF's actions showed disrespect and disregard for Spiky's proprietary rights, resulting in significant financial losses due to missed licensing opportunities for commercial use. Now, we've got the producer himself joining us via Zoom all the way from Accra, Ghana. Welcome to the show, Kwabena Ofe Kwadi Nkrumah, a.k.a. Kobe Spiky Nkrumah.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. And I'm sure all over social media now, people will be looking towards you and asking you probably for urgent 2K, if I put it that way.
Indeed.
Yeah. So let's start off with the story. What exactly transpired? Because we know that the sound was used by CAF during the 2018 World Cup. How did you find this out, and how did you tackle the issue?
So it was drawn to my attention actually because most of the time I upload it on YouTube and on SoundCloud, on social media, basically for my friends to give me feedback, and then hopefully that I'd be able to get some interested people who'd like to use it for their content. And so someone who'd heard that it sounded similar to what CAF had used, and drew my attention that if it was mine or not. And when I listened, it was actually it. It wasn't even changed in any way. It was the exact soundtrack that had been used. And so I reached out to them on Twitter initially, and I didn't get any feedback. And so I also sent them messages via their website. And some time after that, they got in touch, telling me they'd seen it, they acknowledged, and they apologized, and they asked what the way forward was, which I asked, well, you've used it, and so you have to compensate me. But I didn't hear from them for a while, so I had let lawyers send them letters, and subsequently we ended up in courts because we weren't getting the feedback that we wanted. So my lawyers filed a suit against them here in Accra, and they did reach out at the beginning, hoping to settle, but the initial offer they made wasn't good enough. So we ended up in court, and the court ruled in my favor after a few years of it. The courts did try to get us to settle out of court. You have the pre-trial conference and everything, but that didn't go as planned. So we ended up in trial, and after the trial, I was awarded the damages that I've been awarded.
Nice. And from reports that I saw all over the internet, I learned that at some point CAF refused to pay more like a recommendation to you, a compensation to you rather, then brought out of court now. Then they also said that the sound was free to use. They claimed that it was free to use. But of course, you had your backings, and eventually you won that case. Was there at any point where you felt like it wasn't going to come to your favor?
Well, I knew from the onset that it was going to be an uphill battle because a lot of people made it seem like, hey, this is a David and Goliath thing. You're fighting against the CAF. You're going to have some of the best lawyers. And here's me, just this young guy in Accra who pretty much has nothing going against CAF. But it was demoralizing in the beginning. But my lawyer was very, very helpful, educated me about the intellectual property, about copyright, and about how I actually did deserve that settlement or whatever settlement I was going to get. And my next battle was whether I was actually going to get something reasonable, because there was the fear that maybe even if you win, you're not going to get anything substantial. There's going to be just a small amount, and your legal fees will be so large, it wouldn't even cover it. So there was that fear as well. But once again, my lawyers were very helpful. our cohort law, they always took me through everything, educated me, and even briefed me before every trial to make sure that I was prepared. And yeah, as fate would have it, they went my way. So it's actually a good feeling.